Welcome back to another edition of Titan Review. My name is Greg Norman, your host. We're again for our third week in a row. Get a chance to talk to Chris Cullen. A big week for University of Detroit Mercy men's lacrosse, having traveled this yesterday, Sunday, down to Notre Dame. And saw you last night, Chris, for a brief period, and you had a little bit of a smile on your face because a scrimmage team that didn't necessarily do well in the ASUN goes down and plays the defending national champions, and you came back with a smile. So I'll let you start from right there.
We were just hoping to look different than we did last year, and I think we're starting to, right? So, we still have a lot of work to do, and I guess let's start with the non-analytical stuff. We had an amazing sideline. Guys were really supportive of each other and excited to be there, and really helps. And when you have you have that hope and you have that kind of caring amongst the team, if we can be consistent in that, I think we're at the level we need to be, and we've been at in the past in Detroit that we kind of lost in the last 2 years. So we've got that kind of non-measurable thing. And it's just, I feel it's such an important thing, especially at a place like Detroit, that we're there on that. So that, if we can continue to keep that for this long season, we're going to continue to grow exponentially. We played a little bit tough. We pushed out. We did well, and while I don't think it was a full Notre Dame team, it was almost full, and at times we gave them a little bit of a hassle, and I think that's a step in the right direction. The last couple of years we hadn't done that, and they're pretty much the same team from last year coming back, and some amazing kids on that team that are of the highest level, and to give a little bit of effort and a little bit of headache in that situation, I think is a good place for us to be, at least as a foundation to continue to grow, and as long as we continue to grow into the conference and beyond, I'm going to be pretty happy with the way that we're going this year.
You mentioned sort of the camaraderie that goes along with the sidelines. Culture can't be sustainable unless there's some success. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, but the good news is, you turn the page every day with every win and loss, and every practice and everything is a new day. So that goes to the character of these kids. I think I love every one of them, and I know from a character standpoint they're top notch. I know everybody says that, but these kids are truly some of the hardest workers when it comes to school and lacrosse. While we sometimes aren't the greatest lacrosse players, as human beings, they're pretty amazing. And again, we showed it this week, and if we can continue to do it, so they know. We also had a lot of guys that were freshmen, transfers, things like that, playing in the game. So that a lot of it was their first taste of it. So now it's about being consistent and having a growth mindset and moving forward. So while winning makes, how about this, Greg? I think winning makes it a lot easier, right? For sure. Winning takes away a lot of you win, a lot of your problems go away. So the fact that we haven't won that much, and these kids are that bought in, was why I was smiling for sure.
Before we get into tangibles from yesterday, you had a chance to talk to Kevin Corrigan, I'm guessing a little bit before the game.
Yep.
So when you talk to him, he's coming back off a national championship, his first, where he's made, sort of scaled Everest a number of times and never got quite to the top. And finally last year they got over the mountain. Does he look at, or did he have any conversation with you in a relationship to what he's looking for this year? And is there extra added pressure on him hosting a team like UD when the entire Midwest has a high school coaches convention as well? That's a big weekend for you and for them.
Yeah, Kevin is he's one of the best, right? And he's a guy that's kind of built Notre Dame, from kind of a place where UD is right now, right? So, he's built in donors, he's built in facilities, it's taken a while for him to do it, and he's stuck with it. So he's, one of the most consistent, caring guys I know in the game. He's a true friend, and he's a true believer in trying to grow Midwest lacrosse. So I don't think he questions any of it, what he does, because he's always trying to think about what's good for Notre Dame and good for the Midwest and good for lacrosse in general. So for us to play him is, just fits in kind of with his whole idea of what he's trying to accomplish in the world. And he's done it. And if you know Kevin, he did it, and he probably smiled about it for a little bit, maybe a little bit longer than he would have just the game. But he's right back to work and right back into, trying to figure out the next one. So I think that's, he's just trying to figure out how to, each quarter, each moment, how to play good and, not, I don't, down the road, he's not thinking about that. He wants to get there and do it and reach the top. But I think it's more trying to be the best you can, quarter to quarter, practice to practice, segment to segment. So
Notre Dame was minus the Kavanaugh brothers yesterday. They're a little bit under the weather, hurt, I'm sure that's a temporary thing, right?
Oh yeah, I mean they look good to me. That's the other side of it. They've had a couple scrimmages before us, and keeping those guys healthy is a smart decision. We had a couple injuries too, so it's a scrimmage, and I also, when you take a mid-major program like us, it's also good to kind of see that middle of the road guys, and someone could get hurt and you need someone to be able to step in. So it's a good opportunity for everybody. And I don't care. Their last guy on their roster is pretty darn good. So they're a very talented team, top to bottom.
Let's start with the probably the most specific tangible, and that is, it looks like from everything we've heard on the internet, just kind of general conversation with coaches last night and into today, it looks like you got maybe some of your nastiness back.
A little bit. We pressed out on defense pretty well. It's a pretty experienced group, and I'll tell you, it's the deepest group. I'll tell you, it's probably the deepest group we've ever had defensively. Coming out of the struggles that we've had the last couple of years, it's amazing. I feel like we've got 6 or 7 guys that can play really good defense, and typically where I felt we've had 2 or 3 and some issues. It seems like, at least on the defensive side of the ball, we're a little bit all of a sudden, it's and don't tell me how it works this way, but we're deep, and that kind of showed with some of the moments in the Notre Dame game that when we were playing really good, it came from a defensive side. So having some depth leads to some competition, and some competition leads to higher play. So that's a good start for us right now, and we'll see if we can continue to do that and grow into that.
6 goalies on the roster. How many played on Sunday?
2 played on Sunday. We've tried to rotate through. Again, the goalie position, we pretty much have one known. So, and Hemi, we kind of didn't need to see him in this situation. We had to see some other guys. So we played some other guys in this situation to see how they did, because we really know what to expect from him. So we gave some other opportunities because it's a scrimmage, and I'll tell you, we probably still have more questions than we have answers with that, because we have a pretty talented group.
So you don't know next Tuesday at Marquette. You don't really have an idea who's going to start between the pipes.
Again, we're going to watch. Again, I haven't watched the film yet. We got it this morning, and again, it was a long, days. Yesterday started at 3 a.m. and ended at about 8 p.m. for me. So I have not watched the film yet. I want to give a full evaluation, and again, it's practice to practice, moment to moment. Again, I know we want to be consistent with it, but let me watch the film and have a day or 2 of practice, and I think we'll be able to figure out what direction we're going for a game next Tuesday.
Your Achilles heel last year was obviously a struggle to score. Offense is a little bit difficult last year. You're going up against one of the best defenses in the country. How did they fare yesterday?
We had a lot of young guys playing, a lot of new guys, kind of different looks. And I'll tell you, I thought they did a really nice job. And Greg, you've been calling our games. 18 turnovers in 4 quarters is pretty good for us against a team like that, right? And I'll tell you, really there were less than that in the first three. So that was a pretty good look for us. That's a good start. So that was good. We got some shots off. They weren't the greatest shots, but scored a little bit. Some new guys scored. It's still going to be a work in progress, and it's where we need our most growth. So we're going to still continue to work on it. But we saw some foundational things. I was surprised. I thought we did better than I thought we were going to do, but some foundational things and some differences that hopefully will continue to grow as we need it to grow as we get in the conference. But I think we're still offensively not where we need to be, but I feel way better about foundationally where we are. I know I just said that twice, but that's where I am, and I'm going to watch the film before I make a full statement on that.
One of the critical issues from the offensive side is being able to hang on the ball longer, just for possession to give the defense a break.
We did. We got some shot clocks that we haven't gotten in the past, right? Which, sometimes when you're playing a team like Notre Dame, and you're getting a couple shot clocks, that's a good thing, right? Better than turning the ball over, and it's and we were almost there on a lot of them. And again, I want to watch the film before I make a full statement on that, but it's there were some really good almost there moments for us. So we just got to get a little bit quicker, got a little bit more in sync. And I think we'll be better offensively on the 6-and-6 scenario. But we cleared the ball really well, and we didn't really, they're so good and so athletic. We didn't really get many early offensive opportunities. So we hope to get some more of those. So we'll see. But again, it was a good foundation to start with. I feel like we're moving in the right direction after we've been kind of moving in a direction that hasn't been great the last year.
Any of the new guys sort of at the corner of your eye, and I'm not asking for names, but is there anybody that you kind of go, maybe there's a battleship in that group? Maybe there's one guy that may emerge at some point in his career?
A bunch of them. So again, it's a long season. It's a long career. A lot can happen. You take a study workload, all that kind of stuff. You're trying to look for consistency and growth, and we saw some of that, and we've been seeing some of that. But again, you have to take a good recovery day on a Monday and start back at it on Tuesday to see which direction we're going to go. But we saw some new faces and young faces do a pretty good job. The first time playing at that level, and that was good to see.
How many rostered players this year?
Gosh, I don't have that off the top of my head. 40 some. Sorry.
Okay. So the reason I'm asking the question is that, early January, you're just kind of getting settled. You're starting over from scratch. It's a new year. You're kind of getting settled in as you get closer to a scrimmage. Now you're in game mode. Now that sort of piece of paper, that offensive plan, defensive plan for next week, it's a little bit narrowed because now your first team guys are going to get more reps than second team guys. Are you comfortable? You're a week and a day away from getting on the bus to go to Marquette. Are you comfortable with where you're at now with sort of the core group that is going to start the season to play?
I think it's still probably wide, right? Like, I think at a mid-major level, consistency is the hardest thing to get. Like, and again, I've always kind of viewed the world and my seasons for good or for bad, but we have a preseason, then we have an out of conference season, which really this year with this big conference we're in, it's going to be Notre Dame scrimmage and a Marquette game and a VMI game, right? So it's a out of conference scrimmage, out of conference season, and then we have a conference season. So I've always felt that we kind of, with injuries and inconsistent play and things like that, I've always felt that we have to keep a little bit bigger umbrella open for opportunities, right? So I think we're in that stage right now. So I feel really good. I feel okay about a lot of guys, right? And I'm not sure how it's going to go, but we like to kind of bear in when conference goes in. That's when we kind of shorten our stuff. So I'll answer that question when we play Mercer, probably different than I'm answering it now. But I still just think, we had a pretty disjointed preseason with some snowfall and rain and ice and things like that, I think that would be a little unfair to say, all the positions are set, especially with a younger team that we have right now.
Are you the only team in the Midwest practicing outside in January?
I know Michigan goes outside. I'm not sure how much they're going outside and what their situation is. I know they had to go outside quite a bit. Canisius is outside. A lot of guys in the upper New York are outside. So it's not just us, and our facility staff does a great job. It's just the way it kind of, I'm happy the groundhog, said it was going to be a short winter, number one, but number two, just the way it kind of went, where it rained, ice, and you had that layer of ice underneath the snow. If it was just snowing, man, we could be out there all the time. Those guys do a great job clearing the field. It was a weird one this time, but we're moving away from it. It's great weather right now, and we're hoping we get a good week of practicing this week. It sure looks like it.
UD's in the ASUN for their final year, headed to the NEC. Marquette is in what conference?
They're in the Big East.
Okay, and then VMI is in.
VMI is in the MAC this year,
Okay.
and then they're in the MAC this year. They'll be in the NEC with us next year.
Okay, that was the trade-off from that. So there'll be almost a setup for component playing league for next year, going into the league. Is that done on purpose?
They're just great young coaches. We have a Michigan guy as an assistant there, a guy from the area. So we just like the relationship. We like that team. And it's funny. We kind of decided to do some home and homes, and we're actually going to play them in Columbus. Because we went there, they came up to us. We went there, and we were going to do home and homes. But now being in conference, we decided this year that, hey, let's do a neutral site game, and we decided on Columbus is kind of the area where that's kind of in the middle that we could play at. So, it's I don't think we James is a real smart guy. I don't think we really thought, or I think we just got lucky. I don't think it was that thought out.
You'll be playing on the river, the field next to the rivers down in Marquette in Milwaukee, which is right down their summer festival parking in the casino. And then obviously you'll be at Olentangy High School against VMI. And that's one of the better high school facilities down in the Columbus area. We've had a chance to play some high school games down there, and it's a really cool place to play.
We feel happy about that. Yeah. And Marquette, what a great place to play, right? That bubble is pretty cool environment. It's, the fans are right on top of the sideline. And, while some people say it's not a big crowd, but they have a great fan base, and it's loud in there. It's pretty loud and it's pretty warm. So that'll be an interesting environment for us.
For Marquette, you go in the night before?
Yep.
Okay. So you're just get a chance to not take that lump right to South Bend. Yeah,
we're gonna go up there, visit a high school, and get a little practice in their bubble to get used to it. But it's a great environment. We like Milwaukee a lot.
We won't preview Marquette till next week, because we're gonna have a chance to talk to Andrew Kimmel this coming weekend, get a little bit of an understanding before, have a pregame for that, and we can certainly follow it up the next week with not only the Marquette game and then hopefully some video, have some conversations with maybe a couple of players. We're going to pass on that this week because of the scrimmage, and then hopefully follow it up with a preseason and a pregame with VMI, because there's a 2-week break between those two games. Right. Then it'll come right at you pretty quickly and pretty obviously, straight ahead with the other. I think we're going to do 12 shows. We'll do those. We'll try to do as much pre-game and post-game as we can, and kind of cram some stuff in between and split it up, and hopefully we'll get a chance to talk to some of your kids. So that being the case, Chris, I wish you the best of luck for this week. Good luck at Marquette, and we'll be back with you on Sunday for next week. And thanks for your time.
Thanks for helping us out, Greg.